Hello, my fellow Southlanders. Welcome home. Today, we are going deep into the heart of the Great Forest, a place where the trees have eyes and the wind whispers your deepest secrets. In the ancient kingdom of Edu, tradition was not just a practice, it was law. And the law stated that a prince must marry the most valuable woman in the land. But what happens when a kingdom's definition of value is completely wrong? Today, we learn that the road to a soft life often leads through a very hard forest. The challenge, the prince's decree. Prince Odion was a man of silent strength. While the other princes of neighboring lands spent their days drinking palm wine and boasting of their conquests, Odion spent his time with the elders. He knew that a kingdom is only as strong as the woman who stands beside the king. When the time came for him to marry, he made a decree that sent shockwaves from the palace to the furthest village. I do not want a woman whose father is rich. I do not want a woman whose beauty is her only identity. I want the woman who can survive the 7 shrines of truth. The rules were simple, yet terrifying. Each maiden must walk the path through the forest of shadows alone. They would carry only a simple clay pot filled with water. They were told, the shrines will test you. If you reach the 7th shrine with water in your pot, you are the queen. But if your pot is dry or the water is bitter, you belong to the forest. The first temptation, the mirage of wealth. The first to enter was Adais, the daughter of the wealthiest chief. She was draped in the finest coral beads. Her skin was oiled with the most expensive camwood. As she reached the first shrine, the forest began to play tricks on her. Suddenly, the dirt path turned into a trail of gold coins. A voice whispered from the trees, "Why walk for a prince when you can take this gold and be a queen on your own?" Adai's heart raced with greed. She bent down to scramble for the gold, tilting her pot. Water spilled onto the dry earth, but she didn't care. She stuffed her wrap with coins, but as she moved to the 2nd shrine, the gold turned into dry leaves. She had traded her life-giving water for dead leaves. She was the first to fall. The second temptation, the fear of the unknown. Next came the daughters of warriors and scholars. At the 3rd shrine, the forest became dark. A darkness so thick you could feel it on your skin. They heard the growls of leopards and the screams of spirits. Fear is the enemy of a soft life. Many dropped their pots and ran back to the village, their hearts failing them. They forgot that the one who called them to the journey provides the strength for the path. The 3rd temptation, the test of mercy. By the 4th and 5th shrines, only a few remained. Among them was Zili, the palm wine tapper's daughter. Zili's feet were sore, and her throat was parched. At the 6th shrine, she encountered a sight that made her heart bleed. An old man lay across the path, his skin ashen, his lips cracked. He wasn't just begging, he was dying. A voice in Zili's head, the voice of the hard life, whispered, "Duant, stop. You are almost there. If you give him your water, you will fail the prince. You will go back to being a tapper's daughter. Save yourself." Zili stood there, the weight of her future in her hands. She looked at the dying man and then at the palace in the distance. She whispered, "If I become a queen by stepping over the dead, I am no queen at all." With tears in her eyes, she knelt and poured the very last drop of her water into the man's mouth. The suspense, the empty vessel. As the man drank, he vanished into a cloud of white smoke. Zili stood up, her pot completely empty. She felt a cold shiver of failure. She reached the 7th shrine, the final gate. The other maidens who had cheated, those who had filled their pots with dirty pond water just to show something, stood there smugly. Zili arrived with nothing but a dry clay pot and a heart full of sorrow. The village had gathered. The king looked disappointed. The prince walked toward Zili. The crowd began to jeer. "Look at her. The tapper's daughter has failed. She is empty-handed." The suspense was like a tight cord around the village's neck. The reveal, the golden transformation. Prince Odion took Zili's empty pot. He held it up to the sun. "You see an empty vessel," he said, his voice booming like thunder. But the shrines did not ask for water. They asked for truth. He turned the pot upside down. Instead of water, a stream of liquid light poured out, turning into solid gold beads as they hit the ground. The ancestors had seen her mercy. The water she gave away on earth was returned to her as glory from heaven. Suddenly, the roughness of Zili's simple life fell away. Her skin began to radiance like the moon. The forest had tested her. The shadows had tried to break her, but her soft power, the power of kindness and character, had turned her into a legend. The moral, the Southlander's victory. Southlanders, listen to me closely. The forest you are walking through right now, the struggles, the temptations to cut corners, the pressure to be hard and selfish, is just your 7 shrines. The moral of the story: character is the only currency that doesn't devalue. Money can turn into leaves, but a good heart turns into gold. Your empty pot might be your greatest testimony. Sometimes, God empties you of what is temporary to fill you with what is eternal. A king is found in the forest, not just the palace. If you want to marry a prince, you must first have the heart of a queen. Don't be afraid of the shadows. Don't be afraid to be the only one doing the right thing. Your crowning is not a matter of if, but when. If this story gave you strength for your journey, type "I am a queen of character" or "I am a king of truth" in the comments. Share this with someone who is currently in their forest of shadows. Subscribe to Softwords Nija for more deep dive legends. Stay soft, stay courageous, and stay blessed. I'll see you in the next one.